No, this is not an episode about horse racing. However, it is an episode about the world famous Kentucky Derby, which will be run on Saturday, September 5th. Well, at least it's scheduled to be run on September 5th. Why I say scheduled with such emphasis, you ask? Well, the radical left, including Black Lives Matter, the organization, is calling for Derby goers to boycott it in lieu of gaining justice for Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor was fatally shot by Louisville Metro Police on March 13, 2020. I'll explain to you why the aforementioned groups look to get their robots to boycott one of the greatest sporting events of all time. Next, on the Fabulous Forum Factor.
You're about to enter the zone called the Fabulous Forum Factor, where a world of fabulous facts will come from a traditional forum. And now, without further ado, here's your host, as informative and jubilant as always, Mr. Kenneth Anthony Moultrie.
Hello and welcome to my show, and I'm your host, Kenneth Moultrie, and I wanted to thank you for tuning in. Please, if you enjoy this episode or any episode I bring to you, please let me know, and more importantly, share with your friends, because sharing is caring, and I certainly care about you, my listeners, and the United States of America. So I want to talk to you today about the Kentucky Derby. Now, for those of you who don't know me, thoroughbred horse racing and horse racing in general is my very, very favorite sport. The Kentucky Derby is an historical event. Now, this year of COVID-19, a lot of things are different. A lot of things are changed. Kentucky Derby is usually run the first Saturday in May, no matter what the date is. It could be the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th of any given year. But it's whatever the date is, it is the first Saturday in May. Well, this year it's going to be run on Saturday, September 5th. And for those of you who also don't know, the Kentucky Derby is run in Louisville. And Louisville is also the location that saw this year on March 13th, the unfortunate killing of Breonna Taylor, the 26-year-old medical worker who was accidentally shot and killed by Louisville Metro Police. Now, what's going on with the Kentucky Derby and this in Louisville is, as you know, the Kentucky Derby is coming up on September 5th, and Black Lives Matter and a lot of other protesters and what I call anarchists and Marxists are trying to get people to boycott the Kentucky Derby. Now, the Kentucky Derby is really a 3-day event, basically. It's a weekend event. It's not just one race. It actually starts on Friday with a race called the Kentucky Oaks, which is for female horses. And then there's usually 12 or 13 races run that day. Average attendance for the Kentucky Oaks on Friday is usually somewhere around 135 to 145,000 every year. Kentucky Derby, the day after, usually runs 150 to 155, somewhere in there. That's 1,000. Now, like I said, this is not just a one-day event. This carries over into the weekend. People are there. They come from all over the world. It's so diverse. It's just a party atmosphere. It's actually at the top of what people call bucket lists of some place they want to go or something they want to do. The Kentucky Derby is right near, or if not at the top. Like I said, it's a bucket list of things that people want to do if they haven't done them before. So as you know, as you can imagine, the revenue that brings in to the city of Louisville with the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks and that weekend in itself is enormous. But Black Lives Matter and other organizations like it are not really interested in that. Now, I will say this year is going to be different because they're deciding if they're going to let fans in or how many fans are going to let in. So any way it goes, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be, the numbers are going to be down. The revenue is going to be down. But more importantly, I just want to talk about why this is going on. Now, for you all, you've probably heard about Breonna Taylor. She was a girl, a young lady who was, and let me just go over the story real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the story, but basically she was in her apartment one night with her boyfriend, and police had what they call a no-knock search warrant, meaning that they had intelligence, surveillance of a particular suspect or situation they were trying to surprise the subject on. So the no-knock warrant is definitely for that. They don't want anyone to be ready for them or to be able to get a gun or be able to run out the back or to evade them in any kind of way. So this is how this happened. So the police used a battering ram to ram the door of where Breonna Taylor was with a guy she was with. His name is Kenneth Walker. Now, Kenneth Walker survived the confrontation, by the way. So as police break in, Kenneth Taylor grabs his gun and opens fire. Now, he was the first one to shoot. Now, Kenneth Taylor was licensed to carry a gun. And by his account, he thought someone was breaking in, like an intruder. So he starts shooting, police start shooting, and shots were firing everywhere. Breonna Taylor was in the house, and she was struck 8 times by bullets from Louisville police, and she ended up dying. Now, you know, of course, there have been a lot of protests. This came a little before the George Floyd thing, and it just kind of flared back up when people were protesting about George Floyd. Then, you know, people think for Breonna Taylor, she wasn't getting enough ink and enough, recognition like that. So the protests, especially in Louisville, were mainly about her. But then it started to escalate. They started rioting and fighting and things like that. So this is all coming full circle now. The investigation is going on. The police officers were fired, or at least one of them was. The police chief resigned, or actually went out on a retirement, and then was ended up getting fired because there was another shooting on June 1st, maybe a month or two after that particular situation with Breonna Taylor. Now as the Kentucky Derby is coming up, residents, whether it's Louisville residents or Black Lives people from the outside, different cities and different states, they now want to get you not to go to the Kentucky Derby or get people not to go to the Kentucky Derby. Now, before I get into the reason why, now Louisville right now we're on like July the 20th right now, July 19th, and Louisville is right at about 128, 130 murders for this year. They're up 40% from 2019. And now, no one's talking about that. Well, people are talking about that, but when it comes to these particular organizations, that's not their main concern. Okay, their main concern is to erase history. They want to, that's why they're tearing down statues. That's why they're trying to rename airports, rename streets. Everything they're trying to do, they're trying to portray that this country has been, is, and will always be so racist until they get their teeth into society and start changing things. So this thing about the Kentucky Derby is not about just boycotting it for Breonna Taylor or any other reasons they think that they need to boycott. This is to dig into the fabric of one of the great American sports events, and which is considered to be white. Okay, horse racing, Kentucky Derby. Yeah, when you saw this long time ago, you would look at TV shots and whatnot, and they would show the rich and the famous, and all these people coming with these nice hats and all these, exotic dresses, and all these things were going on. And it gave the impression, I've been to 2 Kentucky Derbies myself. Okay, I went in 2001 and then 2008. Now, it is the most, I'm telling you, even in 2001, it is so diverse, not just nationalities, people coming from all over the world. Okay, many Black Americans there, male and female, from all over the United States, all over the world. But it's portrayed as a white, vanilla, lily white event. And this is what Black Lives Matter and these other organizations are trying to get their arms around. They're trying to erase it. So, yeah, they're trying to tell you, they're saying they want to boycott it for this year. But believe you me, their goal is to get rid of something like the Kentucky Derby. And then next is going to be coming something like the Indianapolis 500. And then next is going to be the Super Bowl, the World Series. It's going to go on and on and on. Anything that they deem as being enjoyed or benefited mostly by whites, they will try to get rid of it. They will try to get rid of it, even if it's at the cost of Black Americans. The city of Louisville is, at last check, was somewhere around 33% Black. Okay, that's just the city of Louisville. Now, during Kentucky Derby week, it is such, like I said, it is such, in normal times, it is such a revenue raiser. I know this one, like I said, I've been to 2 Kentucky Derbies, and there was this particular Black American woman who lived maybe across the street from the Kentucky Derby, from Churchill Downs, which is actually really right down the street from the University of Louisville. And people, you know, during that time in that neighborhood, they offer their, when I say offer, they gladly offer parking spaces to Derby goers for that, you know, like I say, for that 3-day period. And they make a good little chunk of money letting people park on their lawn and their driveway and whatnot, because Churchill Downs has very limited traditional parking. So sometimes you have to park somewhere near the University of Louisville, and they have these shuttle buses that come over and things like that. But a lot of local patrons, and it is in an area where mostly Black Americans live. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of residents, they get fat during that time, and that's good for them. You know, I know this one particular lady, she cooks particular plates, like chicken ribs. She has like this peach cobbler. She sells the plates for $15 or so. And people who come to the Kentucky Derby, they look forward to that. And I've gotten a couple plates from her myself in the 2 times that I've went. But overall, like I said, it is a revenue maker for the city of Louisville and the state of Kentucky. But like I said, this is a ploy for these Marxists to get rid of. It's just trying to erase American history, and it has nothing to do with Breonna Taylor. The situation with Breonna Taylor, and people talk about these young people that march and protest down the street, 18, 19, 20 years old, you don't even know what the word justice means. You don't even know what the wheels of justice are turning. The investigation, the FBI is into it. They've already fired cops. They're working on things like that. They've already got the law changed, because there's going to be no more breaking into houses, you know, like a break-in warrant, as they call it. No more of that. So that's already changed. No knock warrant. So they've changed that already. So this is part of your justice that's working already. Okay, they've changed a couple of things because of this situation. So like I said, this thing about trying to boycott the Kentucky Derby has nothing to do with Breonna Taylor. As a matter of fact, a sister of Breonna Taylor said on her Facebook page, and it is documented, that when people started rioting and looting, she says, "You're not doing it because of my sister. You're just doing it to be, just doing it to be ghetto." That's what she said. Okay. So, and then she asked a couple of people around, "Why are you doing this? In name of who?" And they couldn't even tell you the name of her sister. So there's you just got people out there just running around. They don't know what the word, they're too young to experience anything. They don't know what the word justice means. And they're just going out and doing these crazy things like this. And like I said, it's going to come down to a point to where,